Hello once again, witchy people. Today on this slightly snowy February day, 2021, here in Southampton, we are talking Valentine's Day. Love or lust? Is it Christian or is it pagan? Now, Saint Valentine's Day is obviously a Christian festival, but did it start off that way? And that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I had to put my glasses on because I made notes. But even with notes, you will have to excuse my pronunciation because obviously I'm very English and we pronounce things in a weird way as far as I'm concerned. So, St. Valentine's Day, if you take one of the 3 or 4 different versions, as a Christian festival, didn't actually exist until the year 469. When Pope Gelasius declared February 14th a holy day in honour of Valentinus, instead of the pagan god Lupercus or Lupercal, who was the god of wolves and had a whole lot to do with Romulus and Remus and being suckled by a wolf and Rome and everything else. Funnily enough, it was unholied. Valentine's Day, St. Valentine's Day was unholied, if you like, in 1969. It's like they knew I was coming. It's the year I was born. So the festival that Lupercus or Lupercal was the head of was Lupercalia. And it was celebrated between the 13th and the 15th of February. And there was a whole lot of rabble-rousing going on with the Romans and women lining up to be flogged with the skins and the carcasses of animals that had just been slain by the men. It had something to do with fertility. Doesn't float my boat, but then I'm not a Roman. But as well as Lupercalia, what a lot of people don't know was there was another Roman goddess called Juno. She was also known Juno Fructifer or Fructifier or Juno Februata. And, or as I like her to be known as, is she who must be obeyed, because she was the queen, if you like, of the Roman goddesses. And that was actually February the 14th. That was her day. And there was lots of rituals that went on where one ritual suggests that women, similar to what happened at Lupercalia, but women would put all their names into a box, if you like, and the names would be drawn out by a gentleman, and the lady and the man would then pair up and go off and spend the rest of the festival making whoopee, and if it was a good match, they would stay together longer. And of course, these rituals and celebrations were to promote fertility, and thus childbirth, to keep bloodlines going, you know, to keep the whole town and country and alive, if you like. So basically what we can say is between sort of Lupercalia and the day that they honoured Juno Februata, the Romans, the ancient Romans, basically had what we know as Valentine's Day, down to a very fine art of goat sacrificing, because it was usually goats that they sacrificed. Goat sacrificing, sex, and a whole load of sadomasochism. Oh, to be an ancient Roman. So, going back to Valentine's Day and why it was called Valentine's Day. Sorry, that piece of hair is really annoying me again. So, like I said, it could have been Valentinus, or there's several others. It could have been named after several Valentines or Valentinos or Valentinus. And all we can sort of guess is that the day was chosen to coincide and meld with this Roman pagan festival. And basically it was so that the plebs and the country folk wouldn't, you know, revolt and be horrified at the whole Christianisation of things. and would happily practice the Christian festivals without displeasing their own gods, if you like, their own pagan gods. So they carried on, they just changed the name, and that's kind of how a lot of festivals, rituals, masses and stuff came about. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily a wrong thing for the Christian church to do. I'm just saying that it was much easier to get people involved within the Christian church if they kind of said, well, we'll let you keep your festivals, but we're going to meld them with our own. And that's how a lot of it came about. So there we have sort of Lupercalia and Juno Februata, and everyone making whoopee and everything else. And that kind of Christianized version of it from 469, sort of St. Valentine's Day, carried on to about the 14th century during the Renaissance period, when it changed from being about sort of like martyrdom and saints, and from the Romans sort of versions of orgies and lust to more to do with love. So basically this sort of time saw a change from, as it was, from this sort of like pagan infused Christianized celebration to a more refined St. Valentine's Day, sort of like honouring love, life, partnership, rather than God's saints, lust, death, that sort of thing. And it coincided at a time when people were sort of breaking away from the impositions of the church and taking a more humanistic view. And that's why it sort of came about that way. So by the time Shakespeare, Byron, Shelley and such like, and the likes were writing about love and St. Valentine's, it was getting closer to the more sort of like commercial view that we know now. Sort of like the industry of it, the whole commercialisation of it. And I think we now have to think, so how can we as pagans and witches, obviously, include this festival within our own practices? Do we include it? I mean, I do. I tend not to. It's not let's buy presents sort of thing, and certainly don't sacrifice goats. So in a more modern sort of no goat sacrificing, definitely not whipping young women with animal carcasses sort of thing. How do we modernise that into a non-whipping women with carcasses day? And I guess that depends on how you live, where you live, how old you are, how you practice, what kind of relationship you're in. Multitude of different variations it can depend on. And I think the easiest way for me to sort of embrace Lupercalia and Juno Februata is more in the fertility aspect, but not obviously making myself fertile, because I've done all of that. But take the fertility aspect of the old Juno Februata and use that to almost like an extension of Imbolc. It's kind of like an extension, it's like that empty space between Imbolc and Ostara, where you can like extend Imbolc but also get into the fertility aspect of Ostara. And pre-Ostara, you can call it pre-Ostara time. And that fertility aspect then lends itself to things like planting seeds and encouraging new growth. Not only in the garden though, you can also encourage new growth within yourself. So you can learn something new and it kind of grow your life, if you like. Grow your practice, your witchcraft practice. So as well as that, take in the love aspect, and it doesn't have to be a relationship kind of, sort of partnership kind of love. It can be sort of like taking time out to let someone know that they're cared for. you know, that they are loved and they're cared about and thought about, especially in this day and age. So, you know, and if you're really missing Lupercalia, you know, and all of that sadomasochistic stuff, have a bottle of wine, romp around on the carpet in front of a faux fur carpet, I should say. Yes, no, don't make it a real carpet. Romp around on a faux fur carpet with someone special. So there we go. The thoughts that I have on Valentine's Day or Lupercalia or Juno Februata. I think I'm going to call it Juno's Day. I like that much better. And just some ideas maybe if you do want to include this as part of a spiritual practice, part of your witchcraft and pagan practice, you can. And you don't have to think that you're using a Christian festival. So I am getting ready to do a few ideas on Ostara and Easter, and it's something that I'd never thought about before, and I found out a few things that kind of clicked in my head. I'm just going to say that. But anyway, that's enough for Valentines, Juno Februata, Lupercalia, or honouring Lupercus or Lupercal, as anyone would like to say. However you celebrate or don't celebrate, I hope you enjoy Valentine's this time of year and get to sort of like try to grow your practice, grow your circle of friends, grow something, and keep that kind of hint of what it is about, that hint of growth and fertility in your heart and in your practice. And that's it. Thank you for listening, witchy people. I will be back very, very soon. Bye for now.